welcome everybody to our Greene Acres. I want to introduce myself. My name is Teresa. Today's video I'm going to bring y'all along as I start making some fall decor for my home. I'm going to show y'all some easy ways that we can take some Dollar Tree items and also some items that I got at the thrift store, and I'm going to show y'all some ways that we can make some really pretty fall decor for our home. I hope y'all enjoy the video and get lots of inspiration and ideas for your home. Okay y'all, let's get started and make some really cute pumpkins. Now I love to make pumpkins and I make pumpkins every year in my videos, but my favorite way is just trace around something that's round, and I'm just using a baking pan, but you can use whatever you have, a pizza pan, and just use whatever fabric you want. I'm actually using drop cloth. But what we're going to do is once you get your circle laid out, then you'll want to just go around, and we're going to add some graphics to this piece of fabric. And I'm just taking some stencils that I have, but you can use any kind of stencils you want to, or you could even use stamps. But like I say, I'm just using what I already have, and most of these stencils that I'm using, they are all linked to my Amazon store. So where I had just some plain fabric left, I just kind of went in, just got creative. I put a couple of crayons on it, and then I used that cute little grains stencil. Now that one is a Waverly one, and you can get it at Walmart. And I made another little pumpkin fabric, and then I used some smaller stencils on it. And like I say, most of these will be linked to my Amazon store. Now this is a Jamie Ray vintage stencil. This is a really good one if you want to do more of a rustic farmhouse type pumpkin. And you can always get Jamie Ray vintage products from my friend Jackie at Ruth and Ruby. And she offers my viewers a 10% discount. So I'll have her information down below. Now for the bigger pumpkins, it's less stressful for me if I just gather my pumpkin at the top and just put filler in as I go, and I gather. Now I just gather and I just kind of shape it and add the filler as I go, and then you'll want to take a rubber band. In my case, I'm using a ponytail holder. That's what I had on hand, and just gather it around the top and fluff out your top. Now I want to show you some different ways of how we can embellish and make stems. You can also use railroad ties. Now y'all, we just found these on our property outside, but they make great pumpkin stems. Now I've showed this in a previous video of how you can take empty toilet paper rolls and just use those for the base of your pumpkin. Just wrap your filler around it, and then you've got a nice little hole that you can work your fabric down into. For smaller pumpkins, to me, this works really well. You can also use some hot glue if you want to hot glue your filler onto your toilet paper holder. But mine, I'm just going to freehand it, and you just, like I say, you just go around, you shape it, add your filler as you go, gather it, and then just stick it down into that little slot of the toilet paper holder. And this works really well too. Now this is a lamp finial. I use this a lot of times to embellish my pumpkins for stems. It's just, just get creative with it. There's so many things that you can use. Now I'm just going to tie a little piece of cotton fabric that I have around just to give it a little ribbon. And now we've got just a real cute little pumpkin that was really fun to make. And there's another one that I made, and it was a larger one, so I just gathered it around the top. But I like the little fluffy tops. To me, that just adds a little bit more, detail and texture to it. Now again, I'm just wrapping some fabric and some twine around this one, and then this one is done. Now another way that I like to embellish for pumpkin stems is silverware. I did this last year in a video, and I think they make really pretty stems. You can also get creative and use wine corks. This is one that I purchased at an antique store a few years ago, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I made that pumpkin last year, and I will try to find the video to it and link it down below of how I made this pumpkin. And I just added some bows and some tails to it. And like I say, making pumpkins is so much fun. Now take house numbers. I did that 5 in a previous video, but you can really, if you can find some house numbers inexpensive, pick those up, because the numbers always really add, a great little embellishment. Now in a previous video, I showed y'all I picked up this scrapbook for 59 cents at Goodwill, and it has some great patina on the sheets. You can tell this little scrapbook is very old, and you can see that the pages have aged well, and they're perfect just the way they are. I won't have to do anything to them. And I showed y'all in my previous video of how you can just take some random stamps, whatever kind of stamps you have, and just stamp, on this paper. And then I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to show y'all how we can make some really cute little, just some little tags that we can embellish on our pumpkins also. So this paper right here is very old and fragile, so it rips really good. But I just ripped out, the stamp that I made, and then I'm going to take some Dollar Tree tags, and I'm just going to use some school glue, and you just want to apply, your paper on top of it. Once it dries, you can go around the edges with a sanding block and just sand away that excess paper, and you've got a really smooth edge to your tags. Now these make great little embellishments to tie on your pumpkins, and it adds just a little unique flair to them. Now where the hole was, I just got a pencil, and you just go back in and and punch it back out. Now we got some great embellished pumpkins. We got some really unique stems, and we've also got some really unique embellishments for them. The next item I want to share with y'all is going to be some dough bowls that I found at Goodwill. Now, y'all know these can run up into the money, but I love them, and I have purchased several for my home, but when I run up on these at Goodwill, I grabbed them up. The large one was $3.99, and the smaller ones were $1.99 each. And so I'm going to leave these black for a little while, and I can always go back and paint them white later on if I want to. But I'm going to show you just how cute dough bowls work when we style our fall decor. The next item I want to show you is another find that I found at Goodwill, and it is this little concrete planter. Now, I love the shape of it, and I love the little rustic detail to it. You can see it was purchased at Walmart, but I got it for $1.99, and I think I even got it half off. I was going to paint it white, but once I got to looking at it, it had some distressing on it, so I went with that, and I sanded it down a little bit more to give it more distressing. I'm taking the stencil that I have, and that package of stencils is linked to my Amazon store. I just stenciled pumpkin on it. Now I'm about to show you another little detail that we can do that will add great little detail to all of our fall decor. And I'll stage a little planner for you more. But take those Dollar Tree Hula skirts, don't pack those up yet. Take your Hula skirt and soak it in some leftover coffee or some tea. And just get it in there. And now it looks like, that skirt is not going to fit in that little container, but it did. I got it all wadded up. I got it soaked really well. And then you just want to squeeze out, as much of the liquid as you can. And it was a hot summer day here in Alabama, so I just hung it out on my front porch on the deck, and I let it air dry in the sun. And once it air dried, now we've got more of a vintage rustic look to the Hula skirt, for $1.25. Now we've got some great rustic raffia now to put in our fall centerpieces. The next item I got was also a Goodwill find, and I love to bring y'all along because I usually go to Goodwill about once a week, and I love to show y'all what I find and how you can style it in your home. But I got this really pretty little bird. It's kind of like a little birdcage cloche, and somebody spray painted it white and they distressed it, and it looks okay, but they did not do a very good job spray painting it. It had a really thin coat on it. So I'm just going to kind of go around it, and I'm going to use my Dixie Belle paint. This is, I think the color of it is called Cotton, and I'm just going to kind of go over it and give it a little bit of some fresh paint just to give it a better paint job. And then where I could leave the distressing showing, I did. But now I've got a really cute little rustic farmhouse piece, and of course I'm going to add some pumpkins to it. I added some little wreaths in the bottom of it, and I think this is a great piece you can sit around and display your pumpkins. Also want to remind everybody, if you're not already, go over to Facebook and join me there at our Greene Acres. And remember, Greene ends with an E. Now my page will look a little different than yours, but where you see add a button, it will say follow. So make sure to hit that blue follow button and we'll be connected, and I post content up on that page daily. So I hope to see everyone over there. Okay, the next project is going to be a pallet wood scrap wood sign. Y'all know I love to use scrap wood, and I love to make signs, and I make them a lot of times for my home. But I'm just going to secure 3 pieces of pallet wood with some popsicle sticks on the back using some wood glue. I let that dry really good, and that's all I do. Now I'm using this stencil, and like I say, this is in that package that I showed in a previous project, and it's in my Amazon store. I'm just going to say hello fall on this one, and I'm going to add some beautiful sunflowers. Now this is Iron Orchid Design. This is in one of their transfer books, and I'll make sure to link which book these beautiful sunflowers are in. These I've used on several projects, so I only have a few of these left, but what I do have left, I'm going to add them to my pallet wood sign. Now these sunflowers right here have so much detail to them. They're absolutely beautiful. They look real. So I'm just going around and I'm placing them, on each side of my sign, and I'm adding stems as I go, and then I'll go in and kind of fill in where I may have, I may need a little bit more filler. They give you tons of leaves. So I'm just going to go in and at random and add some leaves where I feel like, it needs a little bit of filler. Then I'm going to go over and work over on the other side, because I ended up having 4 sunflowers left over. So this just really, gave me a great way to use them. And y'all, sunflowers are one of my favorite flowers. So this sign right here, I know I'm going to enjoy for, using it in my fall decor this season.
So small, watch the clock ticking off the wall, but tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, nothing.
Okay, the next project, we're going to use a frame, and y'all know I love upcycling frames. There's so many things you can do with them. I picked this one up at a yard sale and only paid $2 for it. Now, I've had this in my supplies for a while because it's such a large frame. So I'm going to make a piece of wall decor for my home using a beautiful transfer. This one will be linked to my Amazon store, and it will be under the transfer category, but it's called Fresh Flowers. Now, it's not all going to fit in my frame, but also I used my poster board from Dollar Tree, and I had to piece a couple of pieces together using some tape, and then I also went around it and hot glued on a piece of drop cloth. You pull it really tight and get it really smooth on the front, and that will be your background. Now I'm just taking part of the transfer, the wording, the fresh flowers at the bottom did not fit, So I'm just going to put the little pickup truck with the beautiful flowers and the fall scene. That's what I'm going to put on my drop cloth and put in my frame. Now this transfer looks like it would be hard to transfer because it's so big, but it's all in one piece. So it goes on actually a lot easier than it looks. Now I'm just going to take a piece of that white backing, that clear backing. I'm just going to go over and I'm going to burnish it on the drop cloth really well. This transfer right here, y'all, is absolutely beautiful and it is so detailed. I absolutely love it. Now to put the second section on, they have grid lines on it, so it's really easy to line it up and get it really straight. So I'm just going to lay it down. And again, I'm just going to go over it with a little scraper tool, and you just scrape it on, and it's that easy. And now we've got a beautiful piece that we can display in our fall decor. Once I got the transfer on, I got it burnished on really well, then all I'm going to have to do now is just put it back in my frame. Now I went back and forth on my frame. I thought I wanted to paint it white, but white just kind of washed it out. So I went over the frame. It was already black, but I did go over it with a couple of coats of black chalk paint. And that way it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of made it look a little bit better with some fresh paint.
Nothing can break me, no, nothing can break me.
The next item that I'm going to upcycle to use as fall decor is going to be this beautiful metal pedestal. Now I got this at Goodwill and I think I paid $4.99 for it, but it's got some beautiful ornate detail to it. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a couple of layers of paint. Now Ben spray painted it with the critter paint, and we use Lowe's interior, some kind of latex paint. But actually latex paint, when you spray it on, it really distresses well. So I just distressed it using my sanding block, and now I've got a great pedestal piece that I can display my pumpkins on.
City lights looking fine, and I know this is my time now. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town.
Another great piece that I found at Goodwill to display pumpkins on is this candlestick candle holder. These right here make great pieces. All you have to do is, if they're not the color that you want, all we got to do is put some paint on it and distress it, and then we've got another great little piece that we can set pumpkins on and just use it as a really cute little riser. Now I did get Ben to take the little candlestick prong off, and now I've got a great base to display my pumpkins on, and it just gives it a little bit more height and a little bit more detail.
Look at the beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me. No, nothing can break me. Look at the beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster.
Okay, y'all, we're at the end of the video. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so we can stay connected, because I have a lot of fall decor coming, and also Christmas will be right around the corner, and I can't wait to get started on those projects. So as always, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I love y'all, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.